They say we live in the age of men, but look around. Do you see strength, or do you see comfort dressed as masculinity? Dopamine addiction wearing the mask of ambition, and weakness marketed as self-love? Before we dive deep into the uncomfortable truth behind why most modern men will never rise, pause this for a second. If you're ready to face the raw, unfiltered truth about yourself and the world you're living in, then hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to hear, no one else will dare tell you. He wakes up at noon, reaches for his phone, scrolls through a world that isn't real. Booty pics, cheap laughs, fake hustlers in rented Lamborghinis. His bed is warm. The algorithm rewards him with more comfort. He doesn't know it yet, but he's being harvested. Not for his energy, but for his potential. A man's strength used to be forged by fire, by silence, by solitude. Now, it's melted by the glow of a screen and buried beneath layers of instant gratification. Porn, processed food, Netflix, virtual friends. He thinks he's choosing freedom, but what he's really choosing is submission. Do you feel it too? That creeping sense that something is wrong with the modern man? That beneath the hoodies and headphones, behind the memes and sarcasm, there's a gnawing hollowness growing? You're not imagining it. This is not a crisis of money or looks or dating advice. This is a spiritual collapse. There was a time when men stood for something. Their word meant life or death. Their actions echoed through generations. Spartans, samurai, saints. They weren't perfect, but they were present. They were awake. They fought, bled, built, protected. Now, most men won't even go 2 hours without touching their phones, let alone go 2 years building a purpose. Comfort has become our master. Motivation, just a drug with a short half-life. We scroll through motivational quotes at 2 a.m. like it's crack, but we're too afraid to do the actual work that would make us dangerous. Discipline, not motivation, is the antidote to our decay. Motivation is for those who wait to feel ready. Discipline is for those who show up when it's raining, when it's cold, when no one claps, and when the world laughs. Have you noticed how society quietly castrates men? Be nice. Don't be toxic. Be soft, be sensitive, be safe. But the ancient warrior in you doesn't care about safe. He wants to conquer. He wants to hunt, not just survive. He wants to walk into a room and command it, not with volume, but with presence. That presence is built in silence, in early mornings, in late nights, in reps done alone in dark basements while the rest of the world sleeps. If you want to be different, you must do what most men refuse to. Go ghost, delete the apps, cut the noise, become invisible. And in that invisibility, build a man no one saw coming. Here's the part they don't tell you. If you want to win in this life, you'll have to become the villain in someone else's story. You'll be the arrogant one for choosing solitude over parties, the cold one for saying no to instant intimacy and guarding your energy, the toxic one for refusing to be manipulated by guilt. Good, let them talk. While they gossip, you build. While they chase cheap highs, you chase mastery. Because here's a truth that should haunt you. Most modern men will die without ever becoming who they were meant to be. Remember this name, Diogenes. A Greek philosopher who rejected luxury, slept in a barrel, and mocked Alexander the Great to his face. They called him crazy. He didn't care. He had something no man around him had. Freedom. Freedom from addiction to approval. Freedom from the softness of comfort. Freedom from the lies of society. Ask yourself, could you walk away from everything that makes you feel safe? Because until you can, you're not free. And if you're not free, you can't lead, you can't protect, you can't become a king. You know what else they won't tell you? That the dating world today is a minefield, and most men walk into it blind, begging for validation. Swipe, match, ghosted, repeat. The average man is chasing women who don't even respect him, begging for attention, hoping for love from someone who treats him like an option. But here's a brutal truth. A woman will never love a man who doesn't respect himself. And no, respect doesn't come from having a six-pack or a Bugatti. It comes from boundaries, from standards, from knowing who you are and never apologizing for it. Modern dating is broken because men are broken. We've been taught to pedestalize women instead of building our own thrones. We've been told that being liked is more important than being revered. We settle, we simp, we shrink, and then we wonder why she lost interest. She didn't lose interest. You lost your edge. This is where the transformation begins. In that gut-wrenching realization that no one is coming to save you, that your childhood wounds won't be healed by a girlfriend, that your depression won't be cured by one more dopamine hit, that the empire you dream of will never be built if you keep chasing the life of a consumer. You must transmute your energy, your lust, fuel it into business, your rage, sharpen it into focus, your heartbreak. Use it to awaken the beast within. No great man was forged in easy times. They were molded in betrayal, in hunger, in exile. You want a comeback story? Then first, let the old you die. Right now, someone out there is training while you scroll, reading while you binge, investing while you spend. They're not better than you. They just decided, and that's all it takes. A decision to stop being the victim of this modern circus. To unplug from the matrix of weakness and choose the path of quiet, consistent power. The kind of power you don't need to post about. The kind of power that walks into a room and speaks before you open your mouth. You can become that man, but only if you're willing to endure what others won't. Here's something no one's saying out loud. The reason most men stay weak is because weakness is easy. It feels good to blame your childhood, to blame society, to blame women, to blame the system. But blame is a bed for cowards, and many are happy to lie in it forever. You weren't born weak. You were made weak. From your first screen, from your first escape, from the first time someone told you it's okay to just be yourself, and you believed them, even when that self was lazy, addicted, broken, and disconnected from God. The masculine soul is dying not because men are evil, but because men are asleep. You see, true masculinity doesn't begin with how loud you can shout or how many women you can sleep with. It begins in stillness, in solitude, in knowing who you are when no one is watching. That's where the stoic man is born, not in the club, not on TikTok, not in arguments with strangers online, but in the quiet furnace of self-discipline, where comfort is sacrificed for principle. Seneca, Aurelius, Epictetus. These weren't cold men. These were anchored men. They bled, they wept, but they never bowed to chaos. They knew life is suffering. But the man who endures suffering without flinching is no longer a slave to it. Modern men flinch at everything. Criticism, delays, rejection. One mean comment and their world shatters. But the ancient code of masculinity isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about walking toward the fire and letting it refine you. Disappear. Not forever. Just long enough to reconstruct your soul. Cut the noise. Silence the apps. Ghost the crowd. And in that ghosting, you will begin to hear something sacred. Your purpose. Not everyone will hear it. Most won't. They've drowned it out with porn, gossip, cheap validation, and meaningless attention. But for those who dare to go silent, God still speaks, and that voice, it won't be gentle. It will convict you. It will remind you of the man you've been running from. It will demand your rebirth. There is a war being fought, not on the battlefield, but in your mind. Every day, every hour, you are being pulled toward decay. The porn site is one tap away. The fake friend is one message away. The cheap dopamine is always whispering just once more. But every time you choose it, you give away a piece of your masculine essence, until there's nothing left but a shell. And then you wonder why she left, why you hate yourself in the mirror, why your life feels meaningless. It's because you gave up your edge, but you can take it back. The transformation doesn't begin when you post about your journey. It begins in silence. When you reject the lie that says, you're enough. No, you're not. You are becoming. And that becoming? It's ugly. It's lonely. It will break you before it builds you. But that's the cost of becoming a man of substance. Not a man with followers. Not a man with clout. A man with a code. A man who can walk away from temptation. Who protects what is his. who can be trusted to lead, to suffer, and to stand alone if needed. They will call you names: cold, toxic, arrogant, misogynistic. Let them, because the same society that mocks you for being masculine will call for you when the real danger comes. And if you have been training, mentally, spiritually, physically, you will be ready. You won't panic. You won't beg. You will act. Here's the paradox. To become a man worth following, you must first be willing to be alone, to be misunderstood, to go through seasons where no one claps, no one checks in, and no one gets what you're building. Let them sleep. Let them laugh. You are not them. And when it comes to women, listen carefully. The world has lied to you. Not all women are the enemy, but many are not your prize. They are a test. Some will seduce you only to drain you. Others will smile only to manipulate. They'll praise you when you serve and punish you when you lead. If you are weak, they will walk over you. If you are strong, they will try to tame you. But if you are wise, you will vet them. You will spot the red flags. You will know when to walk away. Not because you hate them, but because you finally love yourself enough to protect your peace. A king does not chase the court. He builds the kingdom and lets her prove she is worthy to enter. Men don't need more motivation. They need meaning. They need God. Because without a spiritual compass, we drift. We self-destruct. We numb ourselves until there's nothing left but habits and memories. God isn't your crutch. He is your source. Your masculine fire is not complete without something greater than yourself to answer to. Because strength without humility becomes pride. And pride, unchecked, becomes your downfall. So pray. Fast. Cut the noise. Return to your higher self. Now ask yourself, what if you disappeared for 6 months? No social media, no porn, no comfort, just the grind, the word, the silence, the pain. Who would you become? You're not too far gone. You're not too old. You're not too broken. You're just one decision away from the man you were born to be. This world is starving for real men. Men who can lead, men who can protect, men who can build, then walk away from it all if it means protecting their soul. But most will stay weak. Most will stay distracted. Most will settle for less. Don't be most. Be the man they never saw coming. Discipline over dopamine. God over ego. Power in silence. Subscribe, because this journey is just beginning.